Chris Chan for wheredoesgodzillapoop.com. Welcome to a video of me being shit at Futuridium for the next 10 minutes and dying a whole lot. This has just come out on iOS, it's also out on PC. It's a couple of bucks, 170 yen for the iOS version. And it's a game I really liked, Uridium, which is what this game is kind of based on, the C64 game by Braybrook, I think. I might be wrong, and then I might have to edit that bit out. I'm just gonna turn down the music a little bit here, because it's as awesome as it is. Kind of making my eardrums explode a little bit. Uridium was a C64 game back in the 80s, and then they made an Amiga kind of remake of it in 93, I believe. And this is Futuridium, which is, interestingly, it's kind of a remake and a demake at the same time. It's kind of cool, but you'll be able to see that better when we actually start. So there's lots of kind of options here, but let's just go in and play. As I said, forewarning, or implied at the beginning, I am terrible at this game. So I'm going to play it on easy, even though I'm only about can only get about 3 stages in. So Uridium, the original Uridium was a top-down kind of shooter that was centered around destroying items and guns and everything on a dreadnought, a massive big battleship, and then once you destroyed everything on the battleship, you gain access to the ship's core, and then you blew that up, and then you were on to the next stage. And that's, as you can see, kind of what I'm doing now. So I destroyed the core and I'm on to the next level. What's interesting, I think, what's really cool about the way this game is that it's a remake in a kind of cool modernization in a way. In that everything's in super duper 3D, and we've got this kind of cool dubstep soundtrack. But it's also kind of an interesting demake in that it's not kind of super duper 3D. It's kind of mid-90s Star Fox kind of 3D, and that's kind of a really interesting art direction. It's also don't adjust your set, but kind of, I don't know whether you could play this with red-green 3D glasses, but it looks like you could. There's these kind of color bleeding and color trails and red-green effects coming off the ship here. So you can see in the top right corner, although I've got an infinite number of lives, I'm constantly running out of energy, and every time I crash into stuff, I lose energy at a faster rate. And what I have to do is destroy all the blue energy cubes, and that kind of, as I do that gets me some energy back and lets me progress further. But I died there. Shall I continue? I don't think I was doing very well, so I think we'll start again from scratch. So yeah, there's this kind of neat arcadey feel to this, where instead of concentrating on burning, staying on the same life, there's just this constant feel of delaying the inevitable in a sense, and that I think is pretty cool. There's also a little bit of consistency when it comes to earning credits. You get a credit or a continue for every time you gain or every time you destroy a certain number of cubes overall. So that kind of lets you progress a little bit further at the expense of your score, as you might expect. So it's really nice. It's really frenetic. It takes a little bit of time to get customized to these touchscreen controls, and as I said, this is also available on PC, and perhaps it would be served better with a controller, or with a mouse and keyboard perhaps, to just get a little bit more precision in what you're doing. But it's nice. It's fast. It's frenetic. It's smooth. It's got, as I said, an interesting approach to its art design, and it looks really kind of neat. I love the fact that there's these vapor trails that you're leaving behind every time you make a maneuver. You can see those blue lines of where I've been through the stage. I seem to remember the original Uridium there being a lot more in the way of acrobatics and different things that you can pull off once you were adept at the game. And it's a little bit of a shame that there isn't that stuff here. I vaguely recall thinking it was really cool that you could fly through half the levels in Uridium upside down and deal death to various space baddies that way. But nevertheless, it is pretty cool. Let's see, I'll continue just because I'm so embarrassed otherwise that we're not going to see much of the game here. This part of the game is, I find, really irritating. Once you're down to maybe 1 or 2 cubes in the stage, and I can't even see where they are at the moment, but you can see your energy. Oh, there they are. They're right at the end of the dreadnought, and you see your energy slowly drain down, and you wish there was just like a speed boost button that you could hit to make you zoom over to those final cubes. But perhaps that's kind of the intent, the balance of the game that's going on here. So this is where there's going to be guns on the dreadnoughts that are firing back at you. And I'm ashamed to say this is precisely as far as I've ever gotten in this game. I've gotten to the 3rd level precisely once. I haven't been playing for very long, to be fair, but this is one of those games that reminds you that you're crap at games, I think. Go! Oh! Wait, back down, shoot. Yeah. Great. Yeah, I mean, it's, as I said, it's probably, perhaps best to play this with a controller on a PC if you've got the option. It's kind of, but I mean, the touch controls are fairly precise, using the left side of the screen to move around, and that, your right thumb on that square in the bottom right corner to shoot, and touch a little bit above that right square, and you'll do a nifty 180 degree turn. But yeah, I mean, it's a tiny little learning barrier. That's just kind of the excuse that I'm using here to explain away my crapness. Good grief. And then, yeah, I'm gonna be way behind here. It's all over. I think I'll save that credit for a later date. Fail out here, but that's the best score that I've ever had. It's nowhere near the top few there. Yeah, so there you go. There's kind of other little options here. You can set the different music, which is kind of the extended play, the EP subtitle to this. Various sort of electronic artists like Le Degu have contributed stuff to the game. Yeah, I mean, in general, if you've got a fondness for Uridium, or you've got a fondness for the early 90s era of 3D space shooters, then do give this a try. It's cheap, it's a lot of fun, it's just something that's going to humiliate you terribly. My name's Chris Jarman for where-to-go-to-the-poop.com. Head back on over to that website for more on this game and a lot more. Thanks for watching.